We're making billions, the money grows. You know the code. I can never go broke. We're making billions, the money grows. Turn the bass to a bounce. Turn the gospel up loud. Making millions, living in God's will. First class to feel it. Oh, really? How easy they can't have this and now when God said you can have both. Check out the source. I can never go broke. Christ in me, living in Crystal Palace, welcome to the Premier League. We're the chosen ones. To get this gospel, you need a first class or a 2-1. These are holy gods, my brother, no shoes on. We're counting funds for fun. We're counting funds for the mission. We're not done until our Christ comes. You know the code. Neck froze. Neck is freezing. Make money every season. No code. I can never go broke. We're making billions. My money grows. You know the code. I can never go broke. We're making billions. My money grows. You know the code. I can never go broke. We're making billions. My money grows. You know the code. I can never go broke. We're making billions. My money grows. You know the code. Go broke. Making billions. My money grows. You know the code. You know the code. Go broke. My money grows. You know the code. I can never go broke. We're making billions. My money grows. You know the code. I can never go broke. We're making billions. My money grows. You know the code. I can never go broke. We're making billions. Hello everyone. Hello. I can never go broke. We're making billions. My money grows. Born of the king, royal blood, energize, I step within. Strive to give, it's to love, so we manifest and we win. Every weapon that's formed against me shall misfire and die. I'm living a life of abundance all the days of my life. Distribute every fruit out of season 2. Any room, money comes to you. We're bearing fruit, the money's coming to you and you. The clouds are full, it's flowing out like a waterfall. Jesus Christ, he is my biggest flex, yeah. Giving your life and living with finesse, yeah. Jesus Christ, yeah, that's my biggest flex, yeah. Giving your life and living with finesse, yeah. You know the code, I can never go broke. We're making billions, my money grows. You know the code, I can never go broke. We're making billions, my money grows. You know the code, I can never go broke. We're making billions, my money grows. You know the code, I can never go broke. We're making billions, my money grows. Turn the bass to a bounce. Turn the gospel up loud. Making millions, living in God's will. First class to feel it. Oh, really? How easy they can't have this and now when God said you can have both. Check out the source. I can never go broke. Christ in me, living in Crystal Palace, welcome to the Premier League. We're the chosen ones. To get this gospel, you need a first class or a 2-1. These are holy gods, my brother, no shoes on. We're counting funds for fun. We're counting funds for the mission. We're not done. We're doing business until our Christ comes. You know the code. Neck froze. Neck is freezing. Make money every season. No code. I can never go broke. We're making billions. My money grows. You know the code. I can grow. We're making billions. My money grows. You know the code. I can never go broke. We're making billions, my money grows. You know the code. I can never go broke. We're making billions. All right. Welcome. Now, in today's session, what happened last week, what happened this week, episode 3, I'm going to talk about importance of knowing candlestick anatomy because this week I used the concept of candlestick anatomy and it me a lot. Now I want to welcome you to today's session. Today's fantastic, very good, and I'm going to show you the importance of using candlestick anatomy. Of course, I'm going to talk about the entries that I took this week. I took the on Tuesday. I took the entries yesterday. I took on Thursday also. It was not much, but I took like 3 or 4 entries this week on gold. All the entries that I took, I used my gold 4H formula, but also I used the concept of candlestick anatomy, which the video of candlestick anatomy is in my YouTube channel. So if you haven't watched my anatomy, just go and watch. Okay, go and watch. So guys, if you have any question about anything, you just go into the chat and I'll be answering much. But and if anyone have any question about this session after this session is over, just comment below and I'll be passing through to answer your question in the comments. Okay, so welcome. Awesome. All right. Yes, Baban, you are interested in candlesticks. Yes, of course. Candlesticks is a very important, and it's deeply, because if you understand candlestick deeply, price movement, and it will simplify your analysis. Many of you know the candlesticks and how it operates. You will simplify your analysis for almost 75%. I know many of you use different strategies, but all strategies is what can I say here? All strategy can work perfectly if you understand the candlestick anatomy, because if you understand that, it will simplify your strategy a lot. Oh, so Baban is asking any strategy. Yes, I have a strategy that I use, or rather I can't call it a strategy because um if you call it a strategy, that means it is well, I don't know what to put here, but it's kind of a market that provides you a picture on what to decide or what to make decisions. So I have a strategy, of course, which I use, own strategy which I have developed, which I'm promoting it every day, the gold 4H formula. And this strategy, I have been working on it for a long time. So since last year August, I've been going to research. I have researched it,
a lot, from technicals to fundamentals, from economic data to geopolitical data, to technical, also to price movement, to also, some people don't know this, but if you are trading gold, you have to also to understand the gold market in real sense. I mean how is the gold production, the real affects the gold price. You need to understand which countries are the main gold producers and how do they affect the gold market. Now, some people only look the USD currency, and then they look America as the main cause, in, uh, uh, the main the main participants in a gold market. But guys, there is a country like China, there is a country like South Africa, there is a country like um, India. These countries have the biggest effective, they participants, the main participants in the gold market. Now, if you are looking, even also Europe, the Europe region, such as Germany, such as the UK itself, these countries also have gold market. Now, sometimes you can see even the geopolitical tensions, such as the Israel war right now. A video on how these geopolitical events affect. See, in the last few days, we saw the market chopping a lot of volume because of that geopolitical tension. Okay, so you don't have just to look the American data or new gold. So I have been working formula for a long time. So guys, if you haven't subscribed to that course, the details will be on the description. Go there. If you don't understand, just DM me on WhatsApp and we will be working on it. Asking what is the difference between the area of liquidity and the 4H formula. So there's no difference actually. I don't know what is the thing you're asking. The area of liquidity, many of you know, like, is when the break of structure happen. This is what we call the area of liquidity. All right. Now, there are so many different of area of liquidity, different areas of liquidity. You can just learn this and you miss others. There is an area of liquidity just by using candles. For example, if you see the candle overlapping like this, this is the candle, right? Overlapping like this can be termed as the area of liquidity. There is an area of liquidity where the candle printing the long wick, a long wick like that. So that long wick can be termed as an area of liquidity. So area of liquidities, and this I teach to my normal strategy, to my normal program, not the gold 4H formula. The gold 4H formula has its different approach. I teach only how to trade gold using the 4H war price flow. But the different program, I teach all the areas of liquidity To my side, I call it the POI, the point of interest. So there are so many different points of interests that you can use depending on what the market provides. Okay, not all the time you'll be using the certain point of, of interest or area of liquidity. So there are different. Okay, there sometimes you use certain POI, and sometimes you can use different POI. So guys, you have so many questions here. I want to participate in the course. Yes, just welcome. There is a in the description there you will see my details. Hit me on WhatsApp. There is my number. I can direct you to the full details on my course. You're most welcome. The link description in this video, also in my bio, in the bio of this channel, there is a WhatsApp channel where you can find my number there. Just hit me there, and I will come along. Can you explain the 4H formula? Some examples, I mean. Oh, that is what I'm going to show you right now on what happened this week. So stay tuned, okay? Stay tuned. So guys, happened this week. What I did, what entries I executed is what we're going to see right now. Okay, right now I'm in the gold daily time frame. Now let's go to the weekly first. I give you an overview of how to use candlestick anatomy. I mean, guys, this is the very simple trick, the very simple trick to you to everything you need to know, everything you need to know. In the beginning of the week, before even this week here happened, I marked out the previous high and the previous low of the week, the weekly time frame. Okay, now before after I marked out the high and the low, see now what this weekly candle did to the previous candle. Now there is a rule that if the candle failed to close on a certain or a previous candle or a previous structure, there are two different things here. If the candle failed to close a candle or it fails to close a structure, two different things here. So if you haven't learned about that, to my YouTube, you'll find a video concerning candlestick anatomy, and you will learn about that. So in this scenario here, the candle failed to break the previous candle. So we have a week-to-week breakout here. Now this can entail, can bring about so many information, and the information I get from here, price is about to retrace, maybe a small retracement, then the price continue with the movement, or is about to do what? To reverse, where the market will do a reversal. Now, if that is the case, the only information you have to get means that the next candle or the next week, The only entries that you are going to look is buy entries. And the targets will be first the wick that fails to break, and the next target will be the wick that was to be break. So the two targets here, the first target here and the second target here. Now the second target will depend on what? The structure of the candles to the lower time frame, the daily and the 4 hour. Now I'll be talking about that a long time. I'm not going to talk, I'm not going to talk a lot on it since it is the paid version. You need to hit me on my WhatsApp. Okay, now after I knew that the candle here failed to break here, so the only entries that I will be looking is buy entries. I will be looking for the bullish momentum to the next week, which is this one here. Then my analysis is just simplified because I'm not just now from now here I know that if I get a sell entry, that will be just a short-term entry. So I'll be so careful on where to put my stop loss, where to put my take profit. Okay, but if I get my buy entry, I'll be so I'll know that buy entries are the long time, and I will be structuring my take profit according to the structures printed in the lower time frames. Okay, so after I knew that buys entries for a long time, now I begin to Monday. In the Monday, I knew we would have a small sell entry. Why? Because so this is the Monday candle right here. This here is the Monday candle. We're in the daily time frame here. If you take a look to the previous candles here, you'll get the point why Monday created this sell momentum. Okay, on Friday, this candle, the Friday candle, did not provide us any information because it didn't close below or above the Thursday candle. But if you look the previous candle, which is the Thursday, you see that this candle braked by body here and it failed to break here. So it brings the information that we will have a sell entry going to break this low. So that's why on Monday we had this momentum coming and close to this this low here. So on Monday I had a one entry. Let me show you guys the entry I took on Monday. The entry I took on Monday, it was around it was around PM. I think it was here. Okay, this candle here, the 4-hour candle. No. It was a sell entry from here around PM. Yes, this candle here. I'm not going to talk deeply on the 4H formula, but I'm just going to show you the flow of how I normally take entries using the 4H flow. Okay, now after this candle here that was printed below, before, And if you mark out that candle, the 4H form, the 4H candle, if you go to the 15 minutes, if you go to the 15 minutes here, I looked up, I looked to my confirmations. Now, the only confirmation I'm going to tell you here is the all candlestick rejections is the main confirmation that I use always. And I look to the first 15 minutes. If not the first 15 minutes, maybe it can be three 15 minutes candles. 15 minutes candles can give you a confirmation to before the volume come. Okay, now you can see this big volume here. This is what I traded. This is what I traded here. Now, after the candle opened around, I begin to look now. This was the first 15 minutes candle, the second 15 minutes candle, and you can see the third begin now to give me the confirmation. So you can see here the confirmation candle rejection. Also, you can see the next candles also printed rejections, failing to close. Now I begin now to go to the lower time frame, which is the 1 minute, to begin and to look on uh, on what, on a change of character or change in state of the ring, and the place where I can put my entry, right? Place where I can put my entries. Now, if you look closely, you will see now this was our last high, which was breaked and failed to be breaked in the high. We mark out this low as our what? As our area where we will be looking a change of character or a change in state of delivery. Now, I marked out this and the price came here and closed below. Good. Now, where to place our entries? Now, there are so many different entry types. Okay. Some people use fair value gap. Some people use candlestick, uh, uh, order blocks. Some people use liquidity engineering. Some people use what, formations. Now I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna show you in this entry. There are three types of entries. All three types entries that was just this same strategy. In my side, I took this failed liquidity engineering here. This was my entry here. Some people call it flip entry. It's good. So I took my entry here, and the stop loss was the second candle that blocked that entry, that zone, which was this one, this candle here. It was a big stop loss, but I didn't care. I prefer to be safe, and my maximum stop losses always be 15 pips, and luckily here it was just 13 pips, so I was very safe, and I took this to 100 pips, to exact 100 pips. I took my take profit. Now you may be wondering, if I use fair value gap, where should I enter my entries? Here is your fair value gap. You can see provided us a gap, and there is our entry. Now you may be wondering also, okay, What if I use it was not triggered? Yes, not triggered, but it was a very, very clear order block you could use there. So it was not triggered there. You could find another order block which was a confirmation, which was this one here, and took that. You could take a small pips here. Look, over 70 pips. Not bad. Not bad for gold. Not bad. Not bad for gold. So this was my first entry of the week. Entry, right? Good. Another entry I took on Wednesday. Now, here is the importance of knowing candlestick anatomy. Candlestick anatomy, guys. Knowing is the best thing. Is the best thing. Going back to the daily time frame, guys. I begin to look because on Tuesday I didn't trade because I was very, very sick on Tuesday. I didn't trade anything. I begin to look on Tuesday night. I saw on Monday we had this failure to close, and the previous candle did this rejection. Why here we saw the sell candle instead of a buy candle? There is a reason. There is a reason. And if you want to know this reason, you have to hit me on WhatsApp. I will tell you why this this candle rejected here, failed to close by body here, and still the next candle here continue to print sell orders. There is a reason there. One of the reason I'm going to tell you, weak feeling. There is a weak feeling. Weak feeling. Weak feeling what? Weak feeling momentum, I can say. And there is there are some people use just weak feel as their entry strategy. Okay, now after this Tuesday candle, you see the to break here. Now I begin to look out, to remember the weekly time frame. The weekly time frame tells buy momentum, and on Tuesday now the confirmation on the daily time frame that we are going to have now momentum. Now here is where I banged gold. Now on Wednesday now, I begin to look for the buy entries. Entries was very, very interesting. Was very, very interesting. If you don't know market structure, you need to learn market structure, guys. Market structure is a very, very good topic to learn. Okay, now on Tuesday, you can see here I begin to trade on around 12 p.m. as always. From the see the rejection, right? The rejection, candle rejecting. Okay, and also you can see here rejecting the structure. Now I begin to see now, okay, we are about to buy. We are about to buy. You can use just candlestick anatomy to trade. You can just use candlestick anatomy to trade. Okay, Baban is asking which candlestick is more trusted. Oh, this question, I don't know. Okay, you need like you need to see doji candle or what, guys? Those are just names of candles, but there is candlestick closure, the candlestick closure, whether it is wick to wick closure or wick to body closure. That is what you have to look. It doesn't matter doji candle or engulfing candle or what. You just have to look uh, a candle closure, whether it is a wick to wick or wick to body. That is what we look. Okay, that is what we. After I saw week to week, for example, here this was week to week. The price now is starting to bring to give me a confirmation now that we are about to have this buy momentum. Now you can see here after the week rejection, the the buy the buy structures on this for a candle. Now, if you go to the 15 minutes candle, the 15 minutes time frame, you'll see this. You can see the rejections. Okay, the rejections. Now, I waited for this high here to give me a change of character, and of course, it provided me a nice change of character. Now, where was my entry? My entry was my on the 1 minute. There was a very nice entry type, which I bet everyone here don't gonna create a video concerning that entry type, which is a very good entry type I use every day. Now, in minute time frame, you will see around this area there is a formation. Now, let me go back to the 15 minutes. In the 15 minutes, you'll see here there is a formation, right? A break of structure. Then you use formation as entry, would place their entry on the body of that formation, and the stop loss, they will put the stop loss around there. Okay, which is a good thing, but if you go to the lower time frame, where if you go to the 1 minute, you see different information. And what was that information? That was a zone flip. A zone flip. I bet zone flip, guys, you don't know about zone flip. I'm going to teach you about zone flip one day. So just subscribe to my channel, turn on notification, because anytime I'll teach about zone flip. Now, zone flip is simply when the market tries to break a certain like this. I mean, sorry, excuse my drawing. For example, this is a level. When the market breaks here, there are two things here to look for. First is whether you have a formation or a candlestick, a different candlestick here around the zone, maybe a support zone or a resistance zone, which is not tapped yet or consumed. You can use that as your entry. And there is a video on failed liquidity engineering. You can see I talked about this concept a little bit. You can go and watch that. Now there are two things here: whether you have something inside or performed a micro retest, then went above. Okay, if you saw something like this, that is a zone flip. So there is a high probability that the market will come again to that zone because it has turned a resistance zone to a support zone. Now, these guys, I know you know about resistance and support. I know you know all about that. If you don't know about that, just hit me on WhatsApp. We will talk about it. This beautiful, beautiful entry right here. So I put my entry, and that was my entry there. Where was my stop loss? My stop loss from that entry, 15 pips, 15, exact 15 pips around that area right here. Okay, now that I got this beautiful entry, and fun fact, this entry which I took on Wednesday, my take profit was the previous week high, which was this one, the previous week high. This was my take profit, my first take profit here. Now, if you go back to the entry, so from this entry here to that, it's almost 734.6 pips. Entry of the month, this whole month, I think this will be the biggest entry of the month. So I took this entry from here to that price here, and after the market created this break of structure here around Friday, turn this stop loss here to somewhere to some level here. I can't remember correctly, but I put my stop level because you never know, the market could not hit my top profit and turn back. So end of the month actually. And of course, one entry on Friday yesterday. So this week I just took only three entries. So on Friday, I took an entry around this area here using a weak fill strategy, and of course using my gold for H formula. Around in the 15 minutes, I begin to look about this rejection here around 9 a.m. This was my rejection candle, my confirmation candle. And after that, if you go to the 1 minute, you will see a nice structure, a nice here. After this rejection in the 15 minutes, you see you have this as your level of interest, or level of or point of interest. Okay, like I told you previously, like there are so many different types of point of interest. Okay, so my point of interest was not this, it was this level here. Why? I have my reasons. Okay, I have my reasons why that was my point of interest. And as you can see, I got this entry here, but I didn't take the entry there. I took the entry after the market provided me a re-entry. Now, the re-entry was a simple failed liquidity engineering here. Now, if you look on the chart, this failed liquidity engineering, or I can say a level here, was not triggered here in this chart, but on my broker HFM, it was triggered perfectly, and my stop loss was this second candle. So this was my third entry and my last entry of the week. I took, and the take profit was also the weekly high, So I managed to get a lot of pips this week, a lot of pips. So this entry only was almost 300 pips. So I managed to get over 1,000 pips this week, which was a very, very good day. So any question, guys? Any question, guys? Okay, BS Capital is asking, show us a weak fill strategy. Okay, the weak fill strategy is simply when you see a candle printing a small body but leaving a large wick. Okay, for example, here a small body, a large wick. So you will take an entry on the next candle opening to fill this wick. Okay, to fill this wick. You can see also around a large wick and a wick fill. Now, I don't use wick fill a lot. I use wick fill occasionally. I use wick fill on higher time frame. For example, the 4-hour, the daily. For example, in the daily time frame, I can show you one here on Monday. You can see here this candle provided us this large wick. Now you can use this wick to target your take profits. Okay, for example, let's mark this as our take profit, and let us look on from this daily opening. Let's find an entry that from here to that take profit to fill this wick. So BS Capital, you asked about wick fill strategy. This will be a very good example. For example, from that daily opening, in order to fill this wick here, we needed to see a structure or any formation formed or structure formed to give us confirmation that we are going to fill that wick. And to the 15 minutes, you can see now a change of character here and a formation inside formation. You can take that inside formation as your entry, or if you were left, if you go to the 1 minute, around that same area, okay, you will see the re-entry. For example, okay, if you see in the 1 minute, the 1 minute is not so clear, maybe on the 3 minutes, let's see in the 3 minutes or 5 minutes sometimes, Sometimes you're not going to use only 1 minute for entry. Sometimes you can use 3 minutes or 5 minutes. Sometimes depends on the uh, of that of that entry that you're or that particular setup. Okay, so quickly here I see I've learned it so many years ago, which is the fair value gap, that is the overlapping fair value gap. The overlapping fair value gap is simply when the left side of the structure has a fair value gap and the right side of the structure has a fair value gap. That is a fair value gap overlapping. Okay, liquidity engineering in this, you could also get an entry using liquidity engineering right here. That was an entry using liquidity engineering, and so on, guys. So for example, from that entry of liquidity engineering to our take profit, which was a weak fill here, a weak fill, this was a nice entry. From there to here is almost 300 pips. This could be a very good day. This could be a very good day. So any question, guys? Any other question before I sum up this session? So I'm going to remind you special program. I've already started teaching some people about the gold 4H formula, good strategy. So please go on and register. Go on and register to that course. Mate, the gold 4H formula, a nice strategy for you on gold, just one pair gold. So the information are in the description. On hit me on WhatsApp, and then everything is gonna be good. So thank you guys for today's session. I hope I'm going to meet you next week for another What Happened This Week series. Thank you very much, and weekend and a nice trading journey for you all. Thank you very much. I see you on the next